Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Melissa and I'm a nursing student. So I have uploaded a video similar to this before. About five months ago, I uploaded my 92-hour work week where I talked to you guys through my 92-hour work week. I wanted to re-upload a video now detailing my 87-hour work week because a lot has changed since I uploaded the last video. For those of you guys that don't know or who have not seen my previous videos, I am a full-time nursing student. I'm in an accelerated BSN program and I also work full-time while in the program. And since I uploaded my video, I left my last job, which was remote. I got a lot of comments saying the only reason why I'm able to work full-time and go to school full-time is because I work from home and I have a remote job and it's easier. Since May, I left my last job, I got a new job, and my new job is 100% in person. So it's a full-time, 40-hour-a-week in-person job. I don't have any days while I'm home. I have to go into the office all 5 days of the week. And I've still been able to work full-time while going to school full-time. So that is probably the biggest difference in my schedule. And then this summer, I also started fixing up a property to rent it out with my husband. So that's kind of like a little side business or side hustle that I've been doing, and it's taken up quite a bit of my time, and that was not included in my last video. So I figured I would just go ahead, film a new video talking about my updated work week. So this is my 87-hour work week. And so I will just say this summer, so I took summer classes. My nursing program is accelerated, so it's year-round. Classes switch out every 8 weeks. So the first half of summer, I had one class schedule, and then I'm just now wrapping up the second half of summer, which has a different class schedule. And I'm going to be going by the beginning of summer because I had to go to campus 2 nights a week versus right now, as I'm filming this video, I have to go to campus 1 night a week, but it's for a 4-hour class. So since it's a bit trickier, I'm just gonna stick with like the beginning of summer. Okay, so I have my notes here because it's long, like I'm gonna forget everything. So if you see me looking down, that is what I'm looking at. First, I'm gonna break down exactly what my work week entails. And I'm only going to be factoring in like things related to school, things related to my job, and things related to like the real estate thing that my husband and I are doing because that is a form of income. So that I would say that constitutes as like a part-time job. So I spend 6 hours in class each week. So I had a 2-night-a-week class, and each night I had to be in class for 3 hours each. So totals 6 hours for my week being spent physically in the classroom. 9.5 hours commuting. So that includes me going to and from work because I no longer work from home. And then from work to home on the nights where I go home. And then from work to school on the nights that I go to school. And then from school to home, and then from home to clinical. It was a whole thing, but when I factored it in, it equated to 9.5 hours. And then I spend 40 hours a week at work. That one's easy because I work full time. I spend 8 hours at clinical. When I was taking my class last session, I was doing pediatrics. I had an 8-hour clinical. So every Saturday I was at the hospital for 8 hours. And then I spend about 15 hours on schoolwork. So that includes homework and studying and projects each week. And then I spend about 1 hour on YouTube. Really, it should be more, but because I had so much going on, I was just I didn't upload every week. And so I kind of probably averaged out to about 1 hour a week. And then I spent about 8 hours a week working on the rental property that me and my husband, like our investment property that we've kind of been working on this summer. So that all equates to 87.5 hours. So my work week is really 87.5 hours, but I'm just gonna round it down and make it a nice, clean, even 87 hours. So now I'm gonna break down each day. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with Monday because I consider Monday to be the start of my week. So I wake up between 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. And the very first thing that I do, of course, is like I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I do like my whole little mini morning routine. And then I let my dog out. We have a little dog, Merlot, she's a Shih Tzu. Let her out to go potty, bring her back in the house, and then I am off to the gym. So another major thing that has changed, a really positive thing that's changed from the last time that I uploaded this video, is that I joined a new gym close to my job, and I have been working out multiple times a week. So actually, since I filmed the last video, you probably can't tell on film, but I've lost about 10 pounds. And I think it's a big part of the reason is just because I'm in a healthier environment and I've started working out more. So on Mondays, I'd wake up, go to the gym. I usually spend about 30 to 45 minutes at the gym doing like cardio and weights. And then I always like to hit, especially on a Monday morning, I always like to hit the sauna. So I'll hit the sauna for like a good 15 to 20 minutes. And then I will shower at the gym. I'm one of those people. I have towel service because my new gym is awesome. My last gym was Planet Fitness. It's not bad, but it was just kind of, it was very much just to work out. It didn't really have any amenities. So now I have towel service. So I'm able to like work out before work, take my shower, and then head straight from the gym to work. So I shower, I'll like, you know, get dressed, put on my makeup, do my hair all in the gym bathroom. And then I will leave the gym. And on Monday mornings, I like to go to get breakfast. Probably not the most affordable thing, but I like to stop at my favorite breakfast place. It's like a health food store kind of thing. And so I'll get like a smoothie or an acai bowl. And so yeah, I will get my breakfast. Another big thing that I did this summer was I gardened this summer. I always like to make like a little vegetable garden on the side of my house, but we didn't do that this year because we were fixing up the house. Our primary residence, we're fixing up our townhouse to rent it out. So we were just like, there's no point in doing the garden. So I rented a little plot of land near my job and planted vegetables there. And so I tended to the garden all summer, and usually pretty much every day I would go before work on my way to work to water the garden. So next thing I do, go water the garden. It is very messy, and because I got dressed for work at the gym, I'm in professional clothing. So what I do is I keep rain boots. Like, I don't know if you guys know the Jolis boots. They're like the hunter boots, but they're not ridiculously expensive. They're boots that come up to like here. They will like cover all of my work pants so I don't get messy or muddy. And so I would go to the garden before work, listen to lecture, and just kind of be out in the garden for like 20 minutes just watering my plants and tending to the garden. So then I make my way to work finally. I know it sounds like I had like a whole full morning, but by this time it's around like 8:15-ish. Typically my work hours are from like 8:30 to 5-ish. It kind of changes a little bit each day, and I'll get into that on Tuesday. But on Monday morning, I'll probably get to work around 8:30, and then I work all day because I work full time. And so that is the rest of my Monday. And I will say this job is so much healthier. Like leaving my last job was amazing, and I like the people that I worked with. There's nothing against the actual job or the work environment, but it was just me working from home was just not healthy for me. I think maybe if it was a different type of job, I think it would have been better, but my last job was very much, you sit at a computer and you're staring at a computer. You don't, like I see videos of people being like, oh, I'm gonna go out to lunch because I work from home, or I'm gonna stop by the grocery store. I didn't have time to do that. It was literally me sitting at a computer for 8 to 10 hours, staring at a screen, getting fat. That's literally what my job was. So with this job, I'm on my feet a lot more. Like I wear my Fitbit and I get steps in, but I'm on my feet a lot more. It is an office job, but there's like a portion of my job where I need to be at the computer and be making phone calls. But a big chunk of my job is being on my feet, running around, meeting new people, talking to people, just like social interaction. And so that's been so much healthier for me. And it probably also helped me lose the 10 pounds since last time that I filmed this video. Another major thing is that I walk during the day. So at some point, I usually eat lunch at my desk, but at some point after lunch, whenever I just kind of want a break, that is when I will take my break. And I have a big campus. There's like a nice wooded area and everything. So there are walking trails. So I'll usually take like 15 to 20 minutes and just go for a walk and just listen to music and just kind of zone out. So that's very healthy, and that's kind of my work day. Then after work, so like I said, I'll usually get off around 5 o'clock on Mondays. Religiously this summer, every Monday, I would meet up with a friend. Like, I feel like I've neglected my friends so much over the last like 6 months, and I just feel like I've lost touch with so many people. So literally, I would look at my phone, anyone that I felt like one of my girlfriends, anyone that I feel like, oh, I haven't spoken to her in a while, I would be like, hey, what are you doing on Monday? And right after work on Monday, I would go probably to dinner and just like meet up with people and catch up with people. So I think I probably met up with like 7 or 8 friends, because every week, Monday was like my day to catch up with somebody. So it was really healthy for me. And then after I would meet up with a friend, usually it would be quick. Like I said, it'd be like right after work on my way home from work. So I would usually get home on Mondays no later than like 7 p.m. And so like on my drive home, I always listen to lecture. So at Chamberlain, we have these things called Brain Sharks. They're recorded lectures from your professor. I like to listen to them since I'm so busy, like when I'm cleaning or when I'm in the car driving. So usually on my way to work or on my way to the gym in the morning, I just kind of want to relax because I'm still waking up. But in the evening when I'm driving home, that's usually when I will put on a lecture and listen to it. And to me, that's like a form of reviewing or a form of studying. And then once I get home, since it's so late, my dog's already been fed by my husband, already been walked by my husband. I typically do the dog care in the morning. He does the dog care in the afternoon. So I will come home, catch up with my husband. This summer, a lot of our catch up had to do with the house and getting the house up and running and the rental property up and running. So we catch up for a bit. After just like catching up with my husband, maybe playing with my dog a little bit, then I would pack because, you know, we also moved this summer. So we were living in our townhouse. We moved out of our townhouse, fixed it up to rent it out. So it was a whole big process. So Monday nights, I would just put on a lecture, pack up my stuff little by little each Monday. And then at 9 o'clock, I would make a rule. At 9 o'clock, I would stop packing, stop doing everything, and I would hop in the shower, get ready for bed, and then I would just be in bed with some tea and my laptop and doing some homework for school. And then I would usually go to bed around like 10:30-ish on Monday nights. So that's another thing about this summer. I got a lot more sleep. I would go to sleep a lot earlier. So yeah, I would kind of fall asleep like around 10:30, 11 o'clock. And that is my Monday. So now Tuesday. Tuesday is more interesting than Monday because Tuesday was a class day. So if I had the energy on Tuesday morning, I'd wake up and follow the whole same morning routine as Monday, minus buying breakfast from my favorite breakfast spot, because I can't do that every day because it's expensive and I don't make a lot of money. But other than that, if I had the energy, I'd wake up early, go to the gym, get dressed and showered at the gym, stop by the garden on my way to work, and go into work. If I did not have the energy, if I was just like tired, or if I had a few drinks the night before with my girlfriends and I felt groggy in the morning, then I'd usually wake up around like 7:30-ish and be out the door and just head straight to the garden and then to work. Now, I work about half an hour. There's like a half-hour commute between my townhouse that I used to live in and my job, just for reference. It was like a 30-minute commute. If I wake up later, it just gave me more time to sleep and relax and just have a chill morning. So of course, since I work Tuesday, same thing, 8 hours, I'm stuck at work. Now, thank God, my employer knows, like my boss knows that I'm in nursing school. This is the 3rd job I've had since I started my nursing program. My first 2 employers did not know that I was a full-time student. And so it's really hard to kind of live a double life of going to school full-time and working full-time if your boss does not know that you are in school full-time. It's very stressful. So a lot of my stress has been alleviated. And not only does my boss know that I'm in school, like my boss and my supervisor work with me. So, you know, as long as I get all my work done, as long as I'm hitting my 40 hours, they're okay if I leave a little bit early on Tuesdays, or on class nights really. They're cool if I leave early on class nights as long as I come in a little bit earlier and just kind of work it out, because they know that 495 traffic is literal hell. So on Tuesdays, I always leave work a little bit early. I will like check Google Maps, see what traffic is like. On a good day, on a decent day, my job is about an hour away from school. If there is an accident on 495, which there is literally every day, always an accident, it could take me up to 2 hours to get to class. Usually it takes me about an hour 10 minutes, but it's just 495 traffic is hell. So I leave my job, I drive an hour to an hour and a half to go to campus, and then I sit in class for 3 hours on Tuesday nights. Now I was taking pediatrics at the beginning of summer, and then the second half of summer, so like right now as I'm filming this, I'm taking community health. So, you know, I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but I just finished taking pediatrics and I'm finishing up community health. So the first half of summer, I had peds Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, for 3 hours. My class started at 6, so I had to be on campus in class by 6 p.m. So around 9 p.m. I would leave campus in Virginia. I live in Maryland, for those of you guys that have not seen my previous videos. So to get home, again, is about an hour away. It's a little bit better usually going back home because it's after that rush hour traffic point, but there's always construction on 495 in the evenings. So going to campus, I have to deal with accidents and traffic, and then going home from campus, I have to deal with construction and traffic. So it's awesome. Yeah, I would usually get home around like 10 o'clock at night. And so after a full day of working all day, sitting in traffic, sitting in a 3-hour lecture, sitting in traffic, and then getting home, I don't do any homework on Tuesdays. I just will literally crawl into bed after brushing my teeth and I will go to sleep. Typically by the time I get home, my husband's asleep because he has to wake up early for work, and even my dog is asleep. She's already had dinner, she's had her walk, my husband is taking care of her, so I have to like creep in my house and crawl into bed and go to sleep and get ready for Wednesday. So Wednesday, not super interesting. Wednesday is pretty much identical to Monday, except at my job, I do like events. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I feel like I keep saying that. It's a hint. If you haven't seen my previous videos, you should go back and watch them. But if you don't know, I work in a retirement village and I kind of do like events with senior citizens. And so it's a lot of fun. They're very active. They like to do all sorts of really fun events. And so on Wednesdays, usually there will be some type of an event or some type of an outing planned. And so, you know, it's my job to plan them. And so if it's early in the morning, then I like to get to work as early as possible, and so I will skip the gym. Sometimes I'll even skip the garden, and I'll just wake up and I will go straight to work, and I will work for 8 hours. And if I don't go to the garden on my way to work, then I will go to the garden on my way home from work just to water it, take care of it. And usually on Wednesdays, sometimes I'd even get home a little bit later if there was an event that kind of ran over. Totally fine. But usually Wednesdays I get home no later than 6 o'clock. And so, you know, I don't have a friend to meet up with. I don't have class. And so I really utilize Wednesdays to like do homework and to study. So Wednesday is not super interesting. And then another thing that I would do Wednesdays, like I said, since my husband and I were, you know, getting our investment property, our rental property up and running, and we were also moving, a lot of research had to go into that. So my husband's a handyman, so he kind of managed all of like the electrical work and the plumbing and the repairs that had to go into the house. That is not my specialty at all. I'm very much not, that's just not me. So what I would do is I would spend Wednesdays like researching. Like we had to research different state laws for like what landlords can do with their tenants. I had to research, we were in Howard County in Maryland. If you guys are in Maryland and you're familiar with Howard County, hi. But I had to research different rental laws in Howard County, the different licensings that we'd have to do. I had to look up lease agreements. There's a lot of research that I had to do. And so usually I would do that on Wednesdays. I would kind of be in my sweats. I would do homework for a few hours. And then before bed, I would also just kind of do research for our little side investment property. And then I'd typically be in bed by like 10 p.m. on Wednesdays. So also not too late. So now it's Thursday. Thursday, pretty much the same as Tuesday, except I always go to the gym on Thursdays, especially at the beginning of summer when I was taking pediatrics, because exam days were usually on Thursdays. So I like to just like blow off steam, get out any like pent up anxiety. And so I always wake up early on Thursdays, go to the gym. Usually I'd get in a longer session at the gym. I'd work out, do weights, or like really intense cardio for like an hour. I'd hit the sauna, shower. A lot of the time on Thursdays, I treat myself to like a bagel or coffee or just like something, just to, you know, it's exam day, so I just like to treat myself. Go to work for 8 hours, of course, and then after I would follow the same routine of sitting in 495 traffic. I like to leave extra early on weeks where we have exams, because I want to make sure that even if there's an accident on 495, I will not be late getting to class and taking my exam. That's like one of my biggest anxieties with school, that there's going to be some type of an accident and it's going to prevent me from getting to class on time for an exam, and I'm going to have a really mean professor that doesn't care about traffic. I don't know. So I like to leave early. I let my boss know when it's exam day. I usually get to work early, or I'll work later the next day. Like, I like to make it up, but I always let my boss know when I have an exam. And I'm really, really lucky that I work in an environment that is cool with me being in school. So then, of course, I go to class, sit in class for 3 hours, and then on Thursdays on my way home, I would try to stop in and see my family. My parents kind of live on the way home when I'm coming home from school. So if I had the energy, or if I just had time, I would stop by and see them literally for like 20 minutes on Thursday night, like after 9 p.m. And then I would make my way home and again, just kind of crawl into bed and go to sleep no later than like 10:30 on Thursdays. So now it's Friday. I think in the last video I filmed, I was just kind of like, Friday, I'm really indifferent toward Friday. Friday, I was no longer indifferent toward it this summer. Friday sucked. Like, Friday was probably the worst day of the week for me because of how busy and how stressful it was. So I'd always go to the gym on Fridays just because it's like the start of the weekend. I want to start the weekend off well. Go to the gym on Friday, shower, get dressed for work, go to the garden. Of course, every morning I go to the garden. And then I would head to work on Fridays. I'd work for 8 hours, and then right after work I would go straight home. So I'd be home no later than like 5:30 on Fridays. I would change, and then Friday would be like house day. It would be like repairs on the house day. You know, at the very beginning of summer when we were focused on moving, it would be packing up and moving stuff to a storage unit, or just packing stuff up and moving it to our new spot. Once the moving was done, then it was like doing repairs and painting. Since my husband does like all the electrical work and the like plumbing and all the hard stuff, I would do the grunt work. All of it's kind of grunt work, but I would do the grunt work of being on my knees and scrubbing and painting and just being tired. Like, I worked all day, I worked all week. A lot of people will relax on Fridays. My husband and I did not. We would work on our townhouse, and so it was stressful. Like, it was hell. That was our Friday. And then toward the end of summer, once we were like really like, we need to move out of this house, like it got to a point where we were moving and we were kind of like off of schedule. We were moving slower than we wanted to. And so I told my husband, I think we need to make the townhouse unlivable to kind of like mentally force ourselves out of the townhouse. So one thing that we did was we disassembled. We had a nice comfortable sectional in the living room. We disassembled that because we would be like, oh, okay, we're gonna pack, we're gonna get ready to move, and then we'd like put on a movie and sit on the sectional and order food, and then that would be an evening wasted where we could have been packing and doing other stuff. So we were like, if we get rid of the sectional, we won't have like a comfortable place to hang out, and that way when we're home, we'll just be focused on getting out of the house. It worked, but it was really uncomfortable. So we would spend Friday night just like packing and cleaning and doing work around the house. And then usually like maybe around like 9 o'clock or so, when it's kind of time to wind down, we would just wind down on the floor, like on the hardwood floor in the middle of the living room, because we didn't have a sofa. It definitely worked. It got us out of the house and it got us kind of back on track to like move out of the house, but it was really, really uncomfortable. And that was my Friday. So Saturday, I think I loved Saturdays on my last video. I love Saturdays even more during this summer because I only had an 8-hour clinical Usually at school, at my school anyway, Chamberlain, I don't know, probably every school, we kind of alternate. So sometimes we'll have a 12-hour clinical and sometimes we'll have an 8-hour clinical. I had an 8-hour clinical this summer and it was amazing. So some people had a 12-hour clinical and they only had to go to clinical 4 times during the session. I had an 8-hour clinical and I believe I had to go 6 times. And I was okay with that because I think I'd rather get off early. Even though I had to go to the hospital more days, I was happy that I got to get off early. So I'd wake up on Saturday morning. What time did I wake up? Clinical started at 7. We had to be there around 6:45. I still woke up really early. I woke up at like 5. I probably woke up around like 5:30 in the morning. I would gather all my things and then I would be out the door by 6 a.m. And my clinical was in DC. It was in Washington, DC during the summer. So it wasn't too far. So I think it would take me like half an hour to 45 minutes to get to clinical. So I'd get there kind of right on time. I'd be in clinical for 8 hours. I was in a pediatric emergency room and I spent a little bit of time in a pediatric ICU, which I really enjoyed. Peds is not for me, but I loved the clinical, the session that I just took. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a cool setting. I had a really great clinical instructor. So I spent 8 hours there, like 8.5 hours, and we'd get done by like 3:30. I think we got done with actual clinical at 3, and then we had like a half-hour debriefing. So then I would go home. And so I was never home later than 5 o'clock on Saturday. And I just relaxed. Like Saturday nights were amazing. I looked forward to them. Even though we didn't have a sofa at home, I was just happy that my week was done. And so my husband and I would literally hang out on our living room floor, or we'd hang out like in our bedroom watching TV in bed, and we'd order food. And it was just my Saturday. I just got to do whatever I wanted to do. Sometimes we went out for date night. Sometimes I met up with my friends. Like, doing a 12-hour clinical is tough because you get out at 7:30 at night. A lot of the time, for me anyway, my clinical can be over an hour away. So I don't get home till like 8:30, 9 p.m. and you can't do anything. So this summer, getting home at 5 o'clock on Saturday, like I could go to a party if I wanted to. I could do whatever I wanted to do because I was home early enough to take a power nap, to shower, and to get out the door. And it was so much fun. So now we are on Sunday, which I consider to be the end of my week. Usually in the past, my body would just kind of like naturally wake itself up on Sundays at like 6 in the morning, sometimes earlier than that. I'm a morning person. But for some reason this summer, I don't know if my body was just tired, I didn't set an alarm, and some mornings I'd wake up at like 6 a.m. Some mornings I'd wake up at like 10 a.m. So if I woke up super early, I would just, I don't know, I just kind of took Sunday as it came, which was really fun. But if I woke up early, like 6 a.m., I would use that time to study because the rest of my house, like my husband was asleep. So I would just go down, literally I would go down to our living room on the floor and I would study and do homework for hours, probably until like noon. If I woke up later, at like 9, 10 o'clock, I would just wake up and I would immediately just start working on getting our house, our property fixed up to rent out. So it just kind of depended on the Sunday. If I woke up early, I would study from like 6 a.m. to like noon. I'd take a lunch break and then I'd spend the afternoon working on the house, like doing repairs and stuff on the house, doing research on the house. And then if I woke up later, I would just immediately start working on the house all day. And then at night before bed, that's when I would use like to study. So it's pretty much my Sunday. I have a therapist that I see. I've always been very open about that. And so I usually see her Sunday afternoons. So I see her from like 6:30 to 7:30. I'll have dinner, and then around 8 o'clock, that's when I'll like start studying and just kind of wind down. Usually I'll study until like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I shower and I'm in bed by 10:30 and I'm ready to start my week all over again. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching, especially if you made it to the end. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.